From rocks the size of tractors rolling across the road in China, and an emergency plane landing on a Talladega highway, to an 18-wheeler stuck on some train tracks in Texas, and a pissed-off mama elephant charging full speed at a safari, here are 10 incredible road moments that were caught on camera. Traffic crawled along a mountainous road in Yibin, China, a prefecture-level city in Sichuan province. Known for its hot springs and beautiful forests, Yibin is also susceptible to freak landslides after periods of heavy rain. It was around 11 a.m. on Saturday, August 8th of 2020, and we imagine these drivers were headed out for their weekend plans. The mountain had other ideas. You don't realize how big those rocks are until the dust settles. Imagine driving by, looking out your window, and seeing those monstrosities tumbling toward you. Several people climb over the rocks to check on the other drivers. According to reports, 3 cars were struck in the landslides, with those inside only suffering minor injuries. We assume the shirtless man dinged his head. The first aftermath photo puts the entire event into perspective. We see how damaged the white car is while pressed against the van. In the background, we see a man standing in front of the largest rock, making it at least 15 feet tall at its highest point. The boulder is even bigger than the tractor they used to move it. Now, we're not sure what caused the landslide, but we can safely assume heavy rain had something to do with it. China is among the most landslide-prone countries in the world. In the Norwegian city of Notodden, about a 2-hour drive west of Oslo, a driver thought it was a lovely day to take their Mercedes-Benz out for a spin. The scenic countryside was the perfect setting for a calm drive. Then, the engine started smoking. Our driver pulled over once they saw the smoke and quickly called the fire department. They left the car at the top of a hill, which, in hindsight, wasn't the best place. Thankfully, the parking brake was engaged when the entire car went up in flames. The fire department arrived, grabbed their hose, and did their best to quell the blaze. But, you know what they say, always expect the unexpected.
Ja, det är mye sånn der, egentlig. Oi! Den er så jævlig. I helvete. Da får jeg en ut Toyota også. Oi! Nei, så inn I helvete. Stopp her litt her da. Pass dere! Vekk! Vekk! Trygt.
As the story goes, the fire melted away the parking brake. The high-pressure hoses were enough to make the car roll, and gravity took over from there. It's almost like watching behind-the-scenes footage of an action movie, except this is real life. Thankfully, the guardrail at the bottom stopped the car in its fiery tracks. The fire department was able to back down the road and finish what they started. Everyone was lucky the guardrail held up. Had the car been going any faster, it may have broken through and kept rolling toward the trees and homes below. Talladega, Alabama, home to about 16,000 people and the world-famous Talladega Speedway. It was December 22nd of 2018, and I-20 West was busy with last-minute holiday shopping traffic. Meanwhile, a small passenger plane took off from Talladega Municipal Airport for a training lesson. It was the student's first flight, so something had to go horribly wrong. Shortly after leaving the airport, the seasoned instructor noticed something awry with the engine. Without enough time to turn around and head back, they were forced to make an emergency landing.
I think he's trying to.
Okay, he's pulling over. Let's pull over,
make sure everybody's okay. Pull behind them, please.
Pull behind the plane?
Yeah, pull behind the plane and make sure they're... What are they doing? Let's make sure they're okay. Go, get behind them, baby.
I can't. This car's right here trying to get over.
Freddie, pull up, please.
Baby, this car right here is trying to get over here.
Freddie, please pull up. Let's make sure... You need to get out and make sure they're okay.
Okay. I got it.
And they may be having a medical emergency. Bless his heart. Shh. Get him. He's...
You know that feeling when you're so scared you think you're gonna pee your pants? Well, we imagine that's how our student pilot felt once the plane touched down. He gives the driver and his wife a quick thumbs up before relieving himself on the side of the road. The wife says what we're all thinking. Is he peeing? The pilot blamed engine failure for the emergency landing, according to Alabama State Police. We're not sure if the student kept up with his lessons. If you drive about 30 minutes southwest of Waco, Texas, you'll arrive in the small town of Moody. The central city of Central Texas, as they call it, is home to just over 1,300 people. Most of them know to look both ways before crossing the railroad tracks. But on June 25th of 2021, somebody didn't get the memo. A semi-truck driver got stuck on the tracks, and as if that wasn't bad enough, the train was on its way. Our cameraman warned the driver about the oncoming train, who then sprinted down the tracks to warn the conductor. There's a reason they say you can't stop a moving train. This video should serve as a cautionary tale.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You can hear the horns blaring as the train comes into view. It looks like the conductor slammed on the brakes a while ago since the train appears to be slowing down. But it's not enough to stop the train, and it tears through the truck like butter, splitting it in two. It's a shame too, since the train stops about 2.5 cars too late. According to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, semi-trucks are supposed to stop between 15 and 50 feet before a railroad crossing, even if the arms are up. They're supposed to open their doors or windows and listen for an oncoming train. Then again, that doesn't really matter if they wind up stuck on the tracks anyway. The first lesson they teach you in dump truck school is never drive with the bed up. Well, one driver in Milwaukee, Wisconsin was clearly late for class that day. In May of 2020, Jim Witkowski was driving along when a dump truck passed him with his bed up. With a tunnel fast approaching, Jim pulled out his phone and recorded the inevitable. Jim told local reporters that he tried to pull ahead and warn the driver, but he'd never make it before the tunnel. When he finally drove up, the truck was long gone. The bed got stuck between the tunnel and the road and ripped clean off. Jim eventually caught up with the driver, who swore he had put the top down. Hate to break it to you, buddy, but Jim's video proves otherwise. On September 1st of 2021, a local man in Goiás, Brazil was driving along when something caught his eye. Up ahead, in the middle of the road, a well-defined dust devil whipped across the countryside. Without hesitation, he ran after the phenomenon, trying to get an up-close and personal shot.
Mano do céu! minha irmã lá mijando. Nossa! Cansei de correr, ó. Eu queria chegar lá pertinho.
He can hardly believe his eyes as the dust devil passes in front of him. He aims his camera up to capture the dust devil stretching into the sky. Then he calls back to someone crouching next to a truck. And we're not sure what he's saying, but it's probably along the lines of, "Can you believe this?" While the wind wasn't strong enough to push or pick him up, it could have thrown a small rock at his head. It's better to be safe than sorry, so if you ever see a dust devil, make sure you film from a distance. About 130 miles east of Dallas is the burgeoning city of Longview, Texas. Most people don't worry about ice and snow in the Lone Star State, but the winter of 2018 proved pretty wild. Christy Boyd and her husband got a call from their friend who was stuck on Hawkins Parkway. The road was covered in ice, and their car couldn't drive up the slight incline. Their friend eventually made it, but Christy and her husband stayed behind to cheer on other drivers. Another small red car made it up and over the hill, but the semi-truck behind them didn't have the same luck.
It's spinning! It's spinning! It's spinning! Go! Watch out!
The truck tries to pick up speed to climb the hill and just makes it to the top when the wheels start spinning. Another driver coming up behind reads the writing on the wall. They quickly throw their car in reverse to get out of the way as the truck starts sliding. Thankfully, it doesn't hit any cars. Instead, it smashes into the traffic light at the intersection of Hawkins and Airline Road. Now, funny enough, if you go to that spot on Google Maps, you can see how the new traffic light pole differs from the one across the street. Perhaps it's a friendly reminder of when Ice Road Truckers Texas Edition rolled through their city. The Chobe National Park in Botswana, South Africa is every safari lover's dream getaway. They can explore one of the most biodiverse places in the country while staying in luxurious vacation suits. They'll see lions, wildebeests, giraffes, hippos, hyenas, and a whole lot of elephants. On Friday, August 14th of 2015, a group of friends embarked on the first afternoon of an 8-day safari. Their car came around the bushes and stumbled upon a herd of female elephants and their calves. The guide pulled over and killed the engine, which the matriarch must have seen as a threat.
Two different families, all females. Females, they don't stay with the males. The males, after...
The elephant charges their car, and its tusks narrowly miss our cameraman. The footage gets shaky as the car flips over, and the elephant doesn't stick around much longer. Aftermath photos show the car flipped on its side and what appears to be a woman needing medical attention. When the car flipped, her husband landed on her, causing her to break 2 vertebrae and suffer a nasty cut on her forehead. Thankfully, our cameraman was an orthopedic surgeon and stitched her back up at camp. According to the good doctor, the guide told them that elephants like to bluff charge. They'll run at the car and then pull up at the last minute, never actually making contact. And while that is probably true, maybe you shouldn't assume that'll happen every time. A few centimeters to the left, and those tusks would have gored our cameraman. On May 26th of 2020, villagers in the Indian district of Kamrup were on their way to see some recent flooding on the Singra River. The first group made it across the bridge to get a closer look at the raging waters, but the other wasn't so lucky. One of them noticed a crack in the bridge, and the entire group retreated to safety. With no way of crossing, all they could do was laugh as the bridge crumbled in front of them. The villagers cheer along with every piece of bridge that falls into the water. The damage is subtle at first, but eventually spreads across the entire bridge. The middle section falls out, causing some people to jump backward. From the other side, the foundation starts to crack closer to the villagers. Soon, the entire bridge is gone, and we end with two men trying to walk a bicycle across a thin pipe. We can't say for sure if they made it. A villager named Nyan took a shot at those who built the bridge, saying, "It's an important road connecting two states, Assam and Meghalaya, but they still did a shoddy job." He didn't have much faith in repairs either, assuming it'll take months to fix the bridge. Nakhon Pathom is a city in central Thailand and home to the famous Buddhist temple of Phra Pathom Chedi. Nearby, in the downtown area, a driver noticed the truck ahead of him driving erratically. 19-year-old Nitikan Srikin Pao fell asleep at the wheel while driving his truck and crashed clean into a telephone pole. What happened next might be the most dangerous domino effect you'll see all day.
เข้านี่ก่อนเข้านี่ฮัลโหลครับ191ครับตอนนี้มีรถชนเสาไฟฟ้าครับผมเสาไฟฟ้าล้มครับผม
The first pole goes down, causing electrical explosions on the lines closer to us. The weight eventually pulls down 4 more poles up ahead, and it's not long before our driver is caught in the mix. He kills the music since, you can see better when it's quiet, and quickly pulls away before the next pole lands on his car. Not wanting to drive across the power lines in the middle of the road, he pulls over and waits for help to arrive. The teenage driver suffered a broken arm in the crash and was rushed to the hospital. Thankfully, the power lines didn't hurt anybody, and emergency crews arrived to clean it up. According to Police Lieutenant Colonel Satapon Paha, they planned on assessing the total damage and billing the young driver. Hopefully, his insurance covers it. To see another video just like this one, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.